welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, my name's Eliza and I mostly talk about knitting related things. It's been a minute since I posted, and for that I am sorry. I just needed a little bit of a break from the internet pretty much. I'm gonna ease into coming back to YouTube. I feel like I was putting a lot of pressure on myself to like come up with ideas for videos, and therefore taking the fun out of knitting as a whole, because I was kind of making it into like a homework assignment, or like, I don't know, it just wasn't feeling as genuine as I wanted it to feel. I feel like I was forcing myself to do things, and then it was making me like not want to knit those things. I've been really wanting to knit like patterns from Ravelry, because when I go on Ravelry I still get really excited and inspired, and I love looking through the like hot right now page on Ravelry and just picking out patterns that I think are amazing, that would be fun to knit. I really am still into like learning how to knit, and I don't want to like lose that feeling of excitement with knitting, and I feel like I was. So I'm kind of going back to like just trying to have knitting be my hobby and not trying to like monetize the hobby right now. So I'm sorry for the ramble, but that's why I decided to not upload for a while on YouTube, because I wasn't feeling as excited and happy to like knit things in that moment. With that being said, I have also had a lot of time to reflect on my personal style. I've actually said this in many videos where I knit these crazy colorful things, whether it's a sweater or socks or whatever, but in my day-to-day life I wear a lot of neutral colors. And I was trying to think realistically about what I want to make going forward, and why I want to make it, and if I'm gonna wear it, or if it's for me, if I'm gonna end up wearing it really, if I'm really gonna wear this thing that I'm making, because I don't really want to have like a bunch of stuff that I'm not wearing. I was trying to reflect on my personal style. I like went through my closet and got rid of a bunch of stuff. I put some stuff away that I couldn't get rid of, but I just hadn't worn in a long time. And my day-to-day wardrobe is like white, black, gray, and red. So I am limiting my color palette right now to what I think I'll wear in the long run. With that being said, I don't want to just knit like a bunch of neutral knits that aren't exciting. So I'm still trying to figure out what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing, obviously, but I've just had a lot of time to reflect on my personal style, what I actually wear, and my knitting journey. So right now I want to knit things that I will wear, 100% will wear, want to wear, and can see myself wearing realistically on a day-to-day basis. I have started knitting a couple things. I have 2 sweaters on my needles that I'm going to show you, and then I have a hat that I'm knitting for my boyfriend. Maybe it'll be done by Valentine's Day, who knows. And then I also want to talk through some projects in my Ravelry queue that I'm really excited to knit this year. This is my first time using the queue feature on Ravelry, and it was really exciting. A lot of my patterns in the queue are from the same designer, because I had like a couple weeks, I think it was in November, where I was like, I love this designer. I want to knit everything that this designer has made. So there are like 4 patterns from that designer in my Ravelry queue. But I'm gonna start with my whips. The sweater on my needles right now that I'm working on like this weekend is the Mimi sweater by Junko Okamoto. And spoiler, Junko Okamoto is the designer in my queue that I'm really obsessed with right now. I have like multiple projects, multiple patterns from that designer that I want to knit this year. I love their designs. I think they're so cool. The Mimi sweater is supposed to be knit with chunky yarn. So the yarn that I chose is this tweed yarn. It's the Ella Ray Eco Tweed Chunky, and I chose this because I wanted to buy from this one yarn store in Piedmont, California, and they had a limited number of chunky yarns, but also like I feel like chunky can be a tricky yarn to find, because chunky kind of goes into bulky, and like they're very different. So the yarn store had like I don't know, they just didn't have that many options. But I really like this tweed. And this one, the color is ivory. It's 75% organic merino wool and 25% polyamide. So it'll have a little bit of stretch. And this actually says it's bulky yarn. but it's like, if this is why like the bulky size gets confusing, because it says number 5 bulky, but then it's called chunky yarn. And I've heard of chunky as a yarn weight and bulky as a yarn weight, so who knows. But this is the yarn that I chose. I bought 9 of these because the yarn store only had 9. And I wanted 10 so I could make a size 3, which is what I think it's Junko Okamoto in the pictures. I'm not sure, but I wanted a size 3 because the pattern Ravelry page said that that's what they were wearing in the photos, and I liked how like oversized it looked. But my yarn store only had 9, so I'm making a size 2, which is going to be oversized but not as oversized, which is fine. And what I've knit so far is I've knit the front and the back panels, and this whole sweater is knit flat and then seamed. This is the back panel. It has these really beautiful cables, and it's in like a fisherman's rib. The front panel looks exactly the same. The only difference is when I was knitting this cable, I completely forgot to add the bobbles right here. So then I just went and added them to the next position and skipped the last position. So that's how I can tell the front and the back, because the back actually has all the bobbles. I just didn't want to go back, and it's fine. It's still symmetrical with the 2 bobble positions, so it's fine. It doesn't bother me. One thing that does bother me though is the way my stitches look. So the side with the cables is the front body, right? Because we have these beautiful cables. But look at my stitches. They're just like kind of uneven. They just don't look that pretty. They don't look as pretty as I feel like my stitches usually look. Like, I feel like I've pretty much mastered the tension, my personal tension, like with knitting, to where my stitches usually look very consistent. They look very inconsistent in this fisherman's rib. But the back side looks really, really nice. Like, look at these stitches. The back side looks like perfect. So as I was knitting the sleeve today, like, I just realized that the side that I was liking was the wrong side. Like, I knew that there were cables on the front side and the other side looked really nice, but like, it just registered in my head today that all of these beautiful stitches are going to be on the inside of my sweater. So I'm hoping it works itself out when I block the sweater. And I do think I'm going to block everything flat and then seam it after I've blocked it. But I was knitting my sleeve and I was like, I think, like, what if I just put this like on the outside? Because this looks so much better than this. And I was kind of like pulling on it a little bit to like pulling it right and left to see if they looked better. Like, maybe they will look better after I block it. I don't know, but I was like, what the hell is happening here? The wrong side looks so much better. I still have a sleeve and the rest of the sleeve to go. And then I'm not sure if you do the neck before or after you seam the whole sweater, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna block all the individual pieces before I sew it up. All right, and then the other sweater that I've been working on for so long, I keep like putting it down for weeks at a time and then picking it back up, is a Ronunculus. And I'm actually knitting this with the exact same yarn, the Ella Rae Eco Chunky. I'm sorry, it's all bunched up because it's on the needles, but you can see there's the Ronunculus yoke. I wanted to do it in this chunky yarn because I saw a photo on the Ravelry page of a chunky version and I thought it looked really cute and cozy. So I have like a taller collar or a taller neck that I'm planning on seaming on the inside, so it'll be doubled. And I actually sized up on the needles for this because I knit it once. I made it like all the way to the sleeves one time before this time. I knitted all the way to the sleeves with size 10 needles, I think. and the tension was so tight that I was knitting it very slowly because everything was tight. And I just felt like it was too tight on the needles. So I ended up unraveling it to the neck and switching to size US 11. So it is a little bit of a bigger gauge, but it's like, it's going smoothly now and I don't feel like it's too tight. Because, you know, I think the yarn was just too chunky for that needle size. And it was going slow and I don't know, I was just like, I don't like how this is feeling. So this is my Ronunculus. It'll be done at some point. This is what the yarn looks like in a cake. It's also the tweed. This has like flecks of red, green, and yellow. So that's a way I'm incorporating color with my neutral color palette through tiny flecks. And then my last whip is a hat that I'm making for my boyfriend. This is what I have so far. This is the Oslo hat by Petite Knit. So I'm getting to the point in the pattern, I'm very close to the point where I will turn this up and like knit it together and then continue knitting the hat. And I'm using this cashmere yarn that I got from my cousin. I got it from my cousin's stash. It's actually 80% merino, 20% cashmere. So it's mostly merino, but it's very soft. I'm making this for my boyfriend, and then I have this idea that once it's finished, I might embroider a little fish on the fold-up brim of the beanie. So they'll be on the outside. So like, I'll probably have to knit them on what would be the inside, because then he'll like flip it up and the fish will be on the outside. But it's just an idea. I don't know how that's gonna execute. Okay, so actually I'm hoping to go to the consignment yarn store today. So if I end up going there, I'll put in what I get in this video later. If not, I'll just delete this. I'm gonna go there right now, and then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna show you what I got, and I'm gonna go through my Ravelry queue. Yeah. So I'll be right back.
Later.
I just got back from the consignment yarn store. I did go. I'm gonna show you my queue on Ravelry first because the yarn that I got is just for one specific sweater in my queue. I literally just got home and like sat down, so I'm kind of out of breath. I'm gonna open my queue on Ravelry and just tell you exactly what's on it because I'm excited. This is like, I just discovered the queue feature this year, so I made my queue and I was like, oh, this is so cool. And I was trying to be very, very selective about what went onto my queue. So these aren't like impulse patterns. These are patterns that I like looked at and I like thought about what yarn I would use and like what I would wear with it. So these are things that I could really see myself wearing. So I'll start with the number one. They're not really in an order. They're just in the order that I added them to the list, and I never rearranged the list. So they're really not in an order. And there are a lot of patterns on here from Junko Okamoto. I only have 15 patterns here. I do also want to add the wave sweater by Spectacular Trick. Because I think that one's so cute. And I was starting to think about color combinations for that one because I'm in my neutrals era. Neutrals and primary colors, because I still like primary colors. Like I'm wearing a sweatshirt with a hamburger. Oh my god, I can't even see. With a hamburger on it. So like reds and blues and yellows, like little bits I think are okay. But for base colors, I'm trying to go more neutral because I want to wear the things that I'm making. The first pattern in my queue is the Grandma Shawl by Junko Okamoto. I thought that this was so cute with the flowers, but I also love the idea of making something in entrelac. I might be saying that wrong. That's just like how I read it the first time, entrelac. So maybe it's like I don't know. I've never tried it, so I'd love to try that technique. And I thought a shawl would be like a great place to start because it's pretty, like it's just a shape. It's not like a sweater, you know, with, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but it seemed easier to start with a shawl. So I was thinking of making that, and I have some yarn that I think that I can use for that in my stash already. The next one is Mimi by Junko Okamoto, and that's the sweater that I'm working on now. And then the sister, I keep saying the before all of these, but they're not called the. The next one is Sister, also by Junko Okamoto. The next three are from the same designer. So it's also like a scarf or a cowl. It's like a big circle and you can layer it on your neck. I will probably use sock yarn for this because I have so much sock yarn, but the color work on this looked really fun and I'm definitely eager to knit that one. And then number 4 is Taro, which is this amazing colorwork sweater. And that's actually the sweater that I got yarn for today. So I will pivot into my haul from the consignment yarn store. I don't want to spend that much money on yarn because yarn's expensive. So I'm kind of choosy when it comes to things. And when I'm making a sweater and I need a sweater quantity of yarn, I try to find the best price possible. So I was taking my time in the consignment yarn store. I didn't want to spend too much money. I found this yarn and I ended up getting some of them, so I'll just show you. They had a bunch of these Rowan felted tweed balls, and these are 191 yards. Originally $14.50 and they wanted $7 at the consignment yarn store. I really was thinking about making the Taro sweater with this yarn as the base, and they had like 5 of these blue colors. I did the math and I think I would have needed 5 of them to make like size 2 or size 3, and the sample knit is in size 3 and I love how oversized it is. I was thinking like, okay, I could get 5 of these for the main color, for the main like body color. But then I like had that thought again about neutrals and like what colors I actually wear. So I didn't think I would actually want a kind of baby blue sweater, so I decided to start over and I continued like looking around the store and I found this yarn. So it's brown and it's tweed. I love tweed yarn. I love the neps and the like texture and dimension you get from a tweed yarn. So I was into this. The sample knit on the Ravelry page is also brown. I think one of them is brown. I was like, okay, I know it looks good in brown. And these like looked really small, but they're 143 yards each. So they only had 7, so I got all 7, which is enough yardage to make size 2 in that sweater. And these were only $3.25 each. Isn't that a great deal? And this is 100%. Oh no, it's not. It's not. It's 65% wool, 20% nylon, 15% acrylic. So it is a blend, but it was more in the price range that I was going for today, and I did like the tweed. So I got 7 of these, and I think like before tax, I did the math on my calculator, it was like $22 just for the main color. And then I only got 2 contrast colors today, and I think I'm going to see if I have a white or a cream yarn in my stash that would work for the 3rd contrast color. So I got this pink kind of mauve tweed, and I got the blue tweed. The blue tweed has like flecks of blue and brown and white in it. And then this mauve has also blue and brown and white in it. These ones are $7.50. I think my total was like $70. But I can't start knitting that now. I have to finish my Mimi sweater first. But I'm excited that I found some yarn for the Taro sweater because I was worried I was going to have to cash out to make that sweater. Okay, the next one on my queue is the Soto sweater. This is actually a crochet pattern, so this is very much like TBD. I don't know if I'll actually make this because I'm not very good at crochet. I'm very much beginner when it comes to crochet, but I had been looking at this pattern and like picking out yarn for it, and then I looked at the gauge and I was like, oh, it's a crochet pattern. So I just put it on here as like an aspirational make for the year. Moving on, I have a couple patterns from Deegan. I have the 6 of Daisies cardigan. I think this one is so cute. I liked the motif on the pullover, but I'm more of a cardigan girl, so I really want to make this. Maybe in black with a white flower, or maybe in red with a white flower. I think that could be really cute too. And then I also want to make the 2 of Daisy's little scarflet. And this one, actually, I have a skein of hedgehog fibers. I forget what their tweed is called, but I have a skein of the black tweed, and I think that would be enough for the base color of this, or I guess for one of the 2 colors. So I would just need to find another color, probably like white, but maybe I could get another one of the tweeds like in the beige color. But I don't know, I haven't really thought about making this yet. I also thought about making it with Wool and the Gang Feeling Good yarn because it's so soft and cozy, and then doing it as a double knit instead of stockinette, because then both sides would be the same image. And I kind of like that better than seeing the reverse of the stockinette on the inside, which I don't think is as pretty as the face of the stockinette. Oh yeah, it's called Hedgehog Fibers Tweedy. It says it right here. And then number 8 is the Deegan Hole sweater. I think this sweater is pretty sick. And I was thinking of doing this in homage to like the Yayoi Kusama Louis Vuitton collection, because I thought that collection was so sick. But it's like unattainable, you know? It's like you just look at it and think like, wow, that's so pretty. But I love the idea of doing this in like a white sweater with red holes, or maybe a red sweater with white holes. But maybe I'll look more into some of Yayoi Kusama's pumpkins, because those have really amazing colorways too. I actually saw one at the SF MoMA the other day. They have a giant pumpkin in that museum right now, and it's like a mustard yellow with black. And I don't think I would do that, but that's the inspiration that I'm pulling from for this sweater if I were to make this sweater. And then I have 2 patterns from Le Pull. So the first one is the Chloe collar. I want to make a collar because I recently got one of those liner jackets from Uniqlo that I've been wearing like under my other jackets, but it doesn't have a collar. So I thought it would be cute to make a collar to wear with that jacket. I also have the Easy Beanie by Le Pull, which I wanted to make for my boyfriend. And I have a bunch of silk mohair, and I think for this you use many strands held together of silk mohair, so I can make him a fun like multicolor hat. 11 and 12 are the Fortuna's Wheel pullover and trousers by Elspeth Vance from the final issue of Pom Pom Quarterly. I actually haven't gotten the physical issue of Pom Pom. I tried to get it the other day at one of my local yarn stores, but it was already sold out. So I'll probably end up just buying the digital version when I'm ready to knit this. I've been following Elspeth Vance on Instagram for a while, and I absolutely love her like trippy checkerboard things that she makes. I think they're so cool. So I was really, really excited when I saw that this was going to be available for everyone else to knit. And then number 13 is a repeat for me. It's Bunny Hat by Bunny Clava. So I've already made like 3 of these, but I want to make a white one with boucle yarn, so it's super fuzzy curly yarn in white. And then actually I was telling my friend that I wanted to do that the other day, and she was like, you should add the little Miffy face to your bunny hat. So maybe I'll do that, and then it'll just be a Miffy hat. And then number 14 is Favo Sweater by Fiber Tales. This has been in my mental queue for years now. I originally wanted to knit it with like a solid color as the base and then a multicolor silk mohair held with the solid base, but I don't know what I would knit it with now. Probably like a white or a gray. Maybe I could do like a white sweater, like a white base with a like a gray tones mohair. That would be kind of cool, but I don't know. I haven't really thought about this one yet. And then the final one is the Saturday Shrug by Jackie Rhodes. This is a free pattern. My friend Andrea made one of these, and I thought it was so cute. She definitely influenced me because I don't think I normally would have been drawn to a garment like this that you like wear on your shoulders, but it looked really cute on Andrea. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching this video and sticking with me. I did have a couple people reach out to me while I was not posting to ask where I was and if everything was okay. So thank you so much for reaching out. They are the reason why I'm making this video, so thank you so much for messaging me. I have love for all of you in my heart. Let me know what you're working on. If you have a Ravelry queue, I'd love to know what's on your queue, and I will see you in the next one.